Hi there, it's Robin Morton here from 22nd Century Gold and Win with Robin. Today I want to talk to you about negative interest rates. Now, have you heard of negative interest rates before? It's something that, you know, in our gold saving business we're always trying to advise people to save in gold and position themselves outside of the conventional banking system, but this is something that really has got me wound up, and I think it is a very, very strong argument for moving some of your money out of the bank and into gold. Now, normally when you put your money into the bank, you deposit your hard-earned wages into the bank. You might expect to get a little bit of interest back, and you know, the way the world is going at the moment, interest rates have been very low. And so, you know, we haven't been getting a huge amount back from our investment into the bank. But now, with interest rates so low, and in some countries around the world, negative interest rates, the banks are actually charging us to put our money in the bank. Now, okay, what does this mean for you in the bigger sphere of things? Well, what it means in a lot of countries right now, like take Japan for example, they have had negative interest rates for a while. People in Japan have been buying little safes and storing their cash safely in the house, because basically when you put your cash into the bank, you're losing money. It's costing you to do so. Therefore, it's an advantage to hold some cash, which, yeah, okay, is risky, but that is what people are looking to do. So, what the banks are doing, they are hurting a lot at the moment because of this. For example, in Germany, they have, I think, negative 0.4% interest rates. The German banks are hurting a lot. This has cost them, I think last year it cost them 2.4 million euros. That's a Financial Times source. So it is a lot of money it's costing them. So what are they wanting to do? In many countries around the world, they're wanting to reduce the amount of cash that we have. In fact, negative interest rates are possibly going to be the death of cash in many countries. Now, again, you might be thinking, what does this mean for you? But just let me tell you a little bit more about what is happening around the world. In Britain, for example, where I live, you know, you can't have huge cash transactions nowadays without alerting the authorities. Australia right now, this very moment, they are talking about banning cash transactions over a certain limit. They're talking about fining people 2 years in jail if you conduct a cash transaction over, I think it's 10,000 Australian dollars. So that's not a huge amount of money. You know, you want to buy a car that's $25,000, you want to pay in cash? Not anymore. Okay, so that's what they're proposing. This is happening in many countries. Scandinavia, cash is becoming less and less used. In Sweden, for example, Sweden is almost a cashless society nowadays. Now, one of the arguments that the banks are using and governments are using, central banks are using to justify taking our cash away from us, is that they say that cash is only used by criminals and drug dealers and the black economy. Cash is only used by people who don't want to pay tax. Okay, well, what's actually been proven in Sweden, for example, where they virtually have zero cash now. The black economy, for example, is still very healthy. So it is a bit of a misnomer to say that only criminals use cash. Okay, so what does it mean for you though, and why should you be worried? Why should you be thinking about positioning in gold, for example, which is what I would suggest? Gold and gold-backed cryptocurrencies, much safer than banks these days. Okay, so why does a cashless society mean bad news for all of us? Well, for a start, you know, it's costing us money. Okay, so it's costing us money. Our money is being depleted just by putting it in what we thought was a safe place, the bank. If we are living in a cashless society, if our cash is becoming steadily reduced, it takes away our freedom. We have less choice. Once all of our money goes into the bank and it's all controlled by the bank, we have no cash, then they have total control over our finances. And then they can start really playing with us. They can institute negative interest rates whenever they want. And every time they do something like that, it's going to cost you more money. So I think this is a democratic issue apart from a financial and economic issue. I think this is freedom is being curtailed here, and I am strongly in favour, even more than I was before, of switching some of my funds from paper money in the bank, which is devaluing anyway via inflation. Our money is going down every month. A kilo of gold today is worth the same in purchasing power as a kilo of gold was 100 years ago. Money never does that, okay? But now, on top of inflation, this hidden stealth tax that is upon us anyway, on top of all that, they're now thinking about and talking about instituting negative interest rates, which is basically just stealing money out of your bank account. So if any of this resonates with you and you think you don't like the sound of it and you're worried about it, and find a link somewhere around this video, or hit me up on Facebook or on social media and ask me how easy it is to save gold. Okay, you can open a gold account for free with our gold and gold-backed crypto accounts, which are all free to open. You can accelerate your wealth massively if you position yourself correctly, instead of losing money all the time, which is what most people do. So maybe it is time to position outside the system. Okay, we're not talking about the sky falling in. We're not talking about conspiracy theories. This is real life. This is happening right now. So you have a choice. You can do something about it. You can prosper, or you can suffer. It's totally up to you. I would advise to look at gold and gold-backed crypto. I'm no financial expert, but basically you don't need to be a financial expert to see that negative interest rates are bad news for all of us. So that's it from Robin at 22nd Century Gold. All the best. Bye-bye now.